My name is Stephen Simpson. I'm minister in First Donegore Presbyterian, which is here in the village of Parkgate, which is situated between Antrim and Ballyclare. Over the past 382 years, the congregation has tried to have an effective witness in Parkgate and to the community. There have been long established organisations, including youth organisations like Girls Brigade and Boys Brigade. So Parkgate in the past 15 years is a place that has changed much from maybe 25 years ago. Up until a number of new housing developments that were put up, Parkgate was a very stable rural community. But because of the village's proximity to the M2 and to Belfast, there have been many folks who have moved here because of their work, because of the easy access, not only to Belfast, but also to Ballymena as well. With those many new folks coming into the village, we have found that they have not made the church connections that they may have had. And in a survey that was carried out a number of years ago, we discovered that almost 80% of the residents around the village have no longer any church connection at all. And to us as a local church, that provides a very great challenge for us. And so whenever we became aware of the Tell It Again course, we soon discovered that Tell It Again was very much designed to come alongside, to meet us where we were, to give us the tools to hear what God was saying to us as a congregation for the community that we are a part of. One of the central themes of the Tell It Again that really resonated with us was that it used the idea of story. It took God's story of Scripture and it enabled us to see our story as a local congregation within that. As we looked at those resources, the question was, how are we going to do this? How are we going to gather our people? How are we going to enthuse them about planning for mission? How are we going to give them the opportunity to not only think about what God is saying, but also to respond to that, and to have those responses recorded and then become part of the mission plan? As a working group within session, we decided after time and prayer to bring the congregation together on a Sunday evening. The format that we decided on was to have folks arrive about 5:30, then to have an evening meal together. We then spent time looking at the course material. We did this in a number of different ways over each of the nights, and we felt that was one of the great strengths of the course, that there were different ways to present material, different ways to engage our members. In addition to using the Tell It Again materials on a Sunday evening, we used the biblical reflections as a focus of our worship on the 5 Sunday mornings. We discovered that the different toolbox materials engaged with people in different ways. And one of our most exciting nights for our young people was whenever they put together a painting of a representation of what they wanted their church to be in the future. A church with the cross at the heart, with the love of Christ at the heart, and a church that was reaching out to all that Jesus was calling onto him.
From the church's point of view, I think the most important and the most positive thing that came out of it is that we got new voices from the congregation, from a wider cross-section of people that maybe hadn't been at events and hadn't had their views expressed before. But I think by getting the church itself and the congregation themselves coming forward with those ideas, there's more ownership.
What were we to do now? One of the pilots that we are about to start is for parents and toddlers, and that will enable us to make good plans to start a new ministry, to support families, to build bridges into those families.
We have done it on a trial basis just to see what would come out of it, and in the first week we had an incredible response. But I think by trying things out which are feasible and seem easy enough to do first, then that gives you the confidence that you can do more. We are obviously in a fast-changing environment here in this local community, and we need to see and understand what those needs are.
And so God has said these things clearly to us, that He wants us in the future to continue to be a people who go and who tell and who show everything about His Son. That's what Tell It Again has meant to us and what it has been to us, a step in the process of discovering God's story.